everyone. I'm Guy from Surf Effects, and this is Jimmy, and we're going to talk about the new Sunova Downwind Foilboards, wingding, whatever you want to call them.
Not just downwind, subsurf, wingding, whatever you want to be doing with them. They're designed for the whole thing, the one board performance range.
Yeah, so this is my 510, which we've had made especially for me. Let's start, I guess, with this crazy bottom.
Yeah, the bottom shape is something that we actually tested a lot between Marcus and myself, and we tested it in a lot of downwind stuff, as well as in the surf and wingdinging, and really, the bottom shape is, the way to describe it is, we got a V in the front of the board that sort of transitions into a double concave, and this, while it may look like it's going to grab and catch a lot, in reality what we found is this V allows you to, just through here, this V at the front sort of splits the water, and then it kind of, for whatever reason, like it looks to me, I felt like it'd catch, but it drives through, and I've been using it for my the new pilot board, the prone board for towing, and you can touch down in the white water or wherever you are, and it just sort of glances. It doesn't stop and stick as much as it would in the, I guess, the flatter bottom shapes that we did have. The rails, we've got a little chine, and I guess the top of the rail is quite round. So if you are touching down like this, you're actually going to glance, and the chine sort of channels that water through. Again, it surprised us that it worked as well as it did. The way it hits the water, or the way it's taking off, and any touchdowns you have, it glances. It doesn't catch like we kind of expected it to. But yeah, really impressed with how that worked. Yes, the other thing is we've got the little, I guess, cutaway at the tail, but it does have a little bit of V back here too. So it cuts away from the box, with the box is parallel to the standing area, so there's no angle there, it's just completely neutral. And then cutting away, it actually we've got a little bit of a V-tail. The idea with that is when we're paddling up downwind, or even paddling up to catch waves, we can sink that tail and pop it up, and popping up and popping up. So instead of having the tail sticking in the water and sort of getting stuck or not releasing, the V is releasing the water, so you can get that lift to get up the foil earlier. And Marcus has tested this a lot for downwind. He goes out almost every day in WA, and
that's extremely important. That's one of the hardest things I've found to learn. You need that release, you need it to let go and get up, and if you don't, you're nowhere. Everyone leaves you and you're on your own for the whole run. Yeah,
it's a lonely time if you're not getting up, and just little tiny tweaks like that, as well as the bottom shape, we found has made a huge difference for getting up downwinding. If you can get up downwinding, you can get up in waves and wingdinging even easier. But yeah, we tested in the hardest stuff, and little things like this V in the tail and the cutaway, as well as this bottom shape that is stable because we have that double concave, but with that V it doesn't stick or grab it. So yeah, really happy with that bottom shape, and that was a lot of work to get to that. Marcus tinkering away, and we tested about 5 or 6 different bottom shapes, and this is the winner.
Beautiful.
Getting to the deck. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, so we got a little bit of, I guess the boys would call it like a scallop, or like a little, I guess, concave deck, and we played around with this a lot, and the first time we did it, we probably made it too scalloped out, which meant that once you got up on the foil, you were kind of in like a little bathtub, which we hated. Like it just, it adds weight to the board, so we've basically made this so it's just a tiny little bit. It's not carrying any water really now. Unless you're taking off in white water, you might get a little on the deck, and it's so shallow that it's going to spill out super quick. So we played around with that. We went to the extreme, found that was too much, raised it a bit, happy with it. Yeah.
Little less ridge.
So this was pretty thick before, which for learning to foil, yeah, it's nice to know exactly where your foot is down the middle. This is way more subtle now, so you know where the middle is, but you're not getting a sore arch of your foot because it's lifted up too much. And then the other thing that's probably quite a feature on this is the footstrap inserts. So you goofy or natural, same thing at the back. And there's 4 different positionings here. to allow, if you're moving the foil forward or back, you can move your straps forward or back as well.
And for winging, that's major important. If you're downwinding, we've usually got our foils forward.
Yes.
Then when you transfer to a wing and you keep the foil there, you're obviously going to have a lot more front foot. So winging, you might bring the foil back.
Yeah.
And that way your front foot's not as fatigued, and you're not going to get a problem needing a strap further forward, which I think sometimes is an issue.
Yeah, and then same with wave riding. You know, if you're generally, when I downwind, my foil's all at the front. My wave ride will be in the middle, and if it's big wave riding, I'm at the back. So with the options to change the inserts, you have that, I guess, adaptability and options. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, well that's, I think, awesome for a wingding board that doesn't stick when it drops. That's massive for us wanting to pop back up.
Yeah.
Lancing the water is what we want. We don't want to stick.
Yeah, so the other thing, there's that V we'll talk about. The other thing we worked on was we added a little bit more volume in the front of the board, and this is Marcus sort of working his sort of race board magic. That extra volume just means the nose lifts up a little bit, so it's harder to bury this nose. If you're paddling into a wave, low volume at the front, it means your nose is going to go under and it's going to skew off. So we changed that, added a little bit of volume, a little bit more rocker, and made it a more surfing shape. So it is, brought into a pointed nose rather than a big blocky square nose. So you're sacrificing a little bit of stability because of the pointed nose, but you've got that double concave which sort of makes up for it. Also the added volume, which also makes up for that, minor loss of stability. But this is a performance board. This isn't your first board you're buying. It's the next one you're buying. So you learn to foil, and then you go to the performance side. This is what we're going to do. It's the next stage. Just because that outline's a little bit more surfy, so it's a little bit less stable, but it's going to be way better in the waves, way better downwind to get started. And for dinging,
love it.
It's pretty well
everything we need to know.
Yeah. Gold edition.
Woo!
Gold member. Yeah.
35 litres, but it's designed for basic ease of paddling in, prone foiling.
Yeah, so we were chatting to go about, I guess, a lot of people go, with the foilboards we've gone, we started at what Kai was on like a 12, cut off 12 foot board. Everyone went down to about 2.5, 3 foot, and now we're coming up to that sort of, I guess, more manageable lengths, 4 foot, 4.6 here. So basically just means you're catching more waves. When you go smaller boards, might feel that a little bit better on the wave when you're turning. But what I found actually is when you were the shorter boards, you'd actually nosedive because you've got no nose in front of you. So if you did make a mistake, you're going back up to 4 foot or 4.6. It means you've got that little bit extra nose, and if you do you turn off the white water and you touch down, you've got a platform, you've got a board that surfs on the wave as well. It's not just reliant on the foil. So if you come down, you can save it. Bit of volume in these boards. That's again just to catch more waves. Paddling, paddle power. Ease to
pump
as well. Yeah.
Is the pump machine the 4 footer?
Yeah, the 4 footer. Yeah, that's
the easiest in the range.
Yeah, and that's I guess the advantage of this sort of pumping machine is it's that V in the front coming off the wave. That's the high pressure point in the chop. You're coming down, and if you do touch down on that water, you're going to come undone. This is the first time we use that sort of V in the front, which we're using in the aviator as well, that same V. If we do touch down here, the water just glances off either side, which is really the key for, I guess, forgiveness when you're foiling, because conditions aren't always perfectly flat, and we're not always perfect either. Sometimes we do touch down. If we do, we want it to be forgiving on the board, on the body, and the whole lot. So yeah, this one was kind of more designed, Guy tells me, for dingalinging.
Yeah,
King Dingaling.
King Dingaling. We're going to definitely give it a good go. I think it's something that a lot of our guys are wanting now. Like, this will really appeal to a lot of guys that just want to get out on the ding and and basically have a board they can surf as well and not buy 2 boards. So I think it's awesome. I think the way it's going, we'll definitely all be riding these in 20 plus knots. I think it'll be unreal.
That's what I've kind of found is for the prone board, obviously you're underwater when you get started. You know, I'm 83 kilos, these are 35 litres. That's not floating me. But if I can stand on the board underwater, have my wing above my head and start to pump, I'm getting a lift once I'm up, especially with foot straps. You can bring it up to the surface, and then once you're up and planing, you pump and you're up and ding-a-linging on the foil. So it's definitely, you know, you're not going to learn to ding on a board like this, but once you get the dinging on the SUP and you've got strong conditions, you can, once you get the freedom of dinging on a little board, it's kind of the game changer.
Dingalicious.
Yeah, dingalicious.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's good fun. And with the foot straps, obviously that sort of allows you to go for those big aerials that the guys are doing.
Yeah, so that's referred to as the Larry model too.
Larry model. So yeah, we've got the V in the front, and through the tail, I guess it is pretty flat. Idea being, you know, get up on the plane, not too much going on, and you know,
and they don't weigh much.
Speed.
About 3 kilo.
Yeah.
3 kilo. Under. Go 2.9.
Yeah.
We didn't mention the weight of the aviator either. The aviator was about 4. I don't know, 4 to 5.
Yeah.
Love lying sometimes. So, what do we got with this one?
This is the Sunova production surf foil model, and this is the one like you learn to SUP foil on. Reason being, it's a much more parallel outline, so it's like it's square. It's a door. You know what I mean? It's extremely stable. Yeah. So the stability is what you're after. You want to catch waves. If you're not catching waves, you're not learning. If you're falling off, you're not learning. So this is about stability, catching the wave, being under control by the time you catch the wave. So the idea is we've got quite a flat bottom, paddle speed. You're going to be able to paddle and sprint to get the board up to speed early. You got the rails are quite thick, but they got a chine, so that's going to stop the rail grabbing too much. If you do touch down, it's glancing off the side. Other than that, it's basically with these ones we just tried to make not too much going on. You know, make it simple.
Awesome wingding board too.
Ding-a-ling.
Ding-a-ling.
Also got the foot strap inserts for all the dinging.
And the dinging.
All the boosting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's this one we try to keep simple. You know, nice and big tail, big square tail, kind of big square nose. Didn't make it completely rectangular because those angles do grab. Made it a little bit thinner in the nose too, so it, again, that volume doesn't catch. But yeah, chines all the way around it, and the box is neutral, so not too much angle backwards, not too much angle forwards. Yeah. So you can see the difference.
Yeah, we've got to talk about the sizes of these too. We've got my 5'10", Michael's 6 footer, 27, and your 6'2".
6'2", it goes up in 2 inches, so it's 5'10". 6'0", 6'2", 6'4", 6'6", I think the biggest is 6'8". Yeah. Might go up to 6'10". You can order customs if you don't have your perfect size. But yeah. So there's lots to play with.
So you dinging much, Jimmy?
I still
like the wing ding?
I still ding out to sea, deflate and
paddle in.
Yeah, in Sydney we get a lot of easterly winds, or northeasterly or southeasterly. So going straight along the coast, you're always cutting back out to sea. So with the dingling, you can basically I'll ding out for 2.5 k's. I'll deflate, and then I'll pack it up in the backpack and ding to my car. 7 to 10 k's down the coast. So you get it's as good as a downwinder in WA or Hawaii because the angle is perfect and the wind is strong enough. But by paddling out, you're not getting the angle. So
yeah, so here in Northerlies we can't do it as easy. You got to get a fair way out.
Yeah.
So the ding we can get out and go one tack for 20 minutes, and then you've got a good line back to Grumman or wherever.
Just it opens up that angle, and by having that, you can have best ever downwinds in any wind direction. The other thing we do in a westerly at home is we're at the harbour, and people want to go up the Hawkesbury, sort of you ding upwind, about 4 or 5 k's. There's a little beach we can deflate, have a little bite to eat, and then you pack your wing up and you paddle back to the start. You can't do that in the west because you have to drive all the way around. It's like an hour drive, but by dinging upwind in a westerly, you get this epic run.
It's awesome.
Yeah, so it's all about having the right gear for the day, and now there's too many choices, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's tricky when you get to the beach what you're going to ride.
Yeah, which is good. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for having me, Surf FX. I'll see you guys up here for 12 Towers in a little bit.
And then maybe dings in the 12 Towers. There'll be Downwind foilers the day before.
King Dingaling will be looking to
defend the title.
And I'll be able to get.
Scotty, you better come over.
I'll be able to take another race against Benny Tarju after the lead fiasco in the Doctor.
Yeah.
But yeah,
no
excuses, man. I haven't foiled since WA. Okay. Say goodbye.
Bye.
Hey, Gold member.